Good morning and good morning and good morning to you. It is Coffee Break with Senabella time. I'm excited and wonderful as always. Blessed to be here in the favor of God and with so many wonderful people. I'm excited to share with you today that I have a dynamic guest who will come on this show with me today. And we're going to talk about the journey of life with Dr. Delece Williams. But in the meantime, how are you? How are you? How is your morning going? What's causing you to stop and say, let me think for a minute. Am I good? And hopefully you just woke up feeling good. Well, if you did, then you and I are on the same page because I feel excellent. So one of the things that I haven't done is I haven't paid tribute to those who make it possible for me to be here. So while we're here, let's just break into that real quick and I'll be right back. You're on Female Solution with Senabella, and I'm here with the Coffee Break with Dr. Delece Williams today. Let's check it
out. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Every time I see that commercial, I see something else that I know. And I see Tony Elliott Bill in there. Am I right? I think that's her in there with Naima Latif. Yes. The commander-in-chief, the sister that made it possible, the one that's been on the ground, putting in all of the work, making sure that female voices are heard everywhere around the globe. That's why I decided to take part in this here wonderful advertisement of women and voices on this network, on the Female Solution, because Naima Latif, she took care of the business and she made it possible for us to be here. So let's do that. Yes, to use our voices to broadcast what we think and feel all over the world. Now, I had a comment yesterday from one of my friends, Vernon Williams. I'm just going to shout him out. And he said that, Senabella, since this is the Voices for Women and Female Solutions, I'm going to send this here to someone else who probably more interested in listening to what women have to say. And I said, wait a minute. We listen to what men have to say all the time. So obviously our voices play the same duality. And with that being said, are you all ready for my morning song? I mean, who hasn't heard it in a while? I haven't sung it, but I'm ready to give it to you. I was blessed with it, and so I'll share it with you. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. 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 Beautiful. I want to wake up. Yeah, I want to wake up. Yeah. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up with the sun in my eyes and joy in my heart. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up. Yeah, I want to wake up. Hey, gotta wake up. Wake up feeling beautiful. Beautiful. I hope you feel beautiful. And let's get right into it. I'm not going to delay it one more minute. Why don't we get Dr. Delece Williams on board with us? And let's start talking and see if she feels beautiful this morning. I know she does because she always has been.
Hey, good morning. I'm still trying to figure everything out. It's early, y'all. It's early. Well, how are you guys this morning? And how are you, Miss Senabella? That song was beautiful.
You wake up feeling beautiful, right?
Yes.
You are bubbly as always. It's one of the things I've always loved about you.
Oh.
That's your passion, isn't it?
Well, we just got off our early morning prayer line. We get up and we pray every morning, 5:30 to 6:30, 1 hour of power. We started in 2010. So, and we've learned over the years that it's necessary, just to start your day, it's necessary, so waking up with the fact that God woke me up, allowed me to see another day, so, I'm often being optimistic about the day that he's given me to just do my best to be great in. That's all.
Well, I put this up because you shared it with me, and I said that's definitely what I'm going to share as you speak about waking up and honoring and praising God and just putting out prayers for the world. I believe that prayer is not only essential, but I think it's powerful.
Yes.
When everyone comes together in one thought and one spirit to put out an energy to say, hey, this is the objective. And
yes.
That is like changing and shifting the world, right?
Yeah. More importantly, I've learned that prayer, more than anything, it helps us. It helps us first, so in order for us to deal with people, we have to be in the right headspace, depending on what person that we're dealing with, what energy that's coming our way. I just do my best to try to be in a good headspace to be able to approach various kinds of folks that I'm often, encountering.
Mm-hmm. So, I recently saw something where you had a prayer. You said you're going to have people read the Bible. I want to kind of get to that because there's so many things, but all of it's important. But since we started with prayer, why don't we just keep moving into it? Right? Look at that. You said, help us read the Bible to the public at the Daily Plaza downtown. So like you're going downtown, you're about to stand at the podium and read the Bible. Is it like it is? It's a Bible marathon. Why don't you tell us about that too? I love that.
Yes, ma'am. We've been asked by the program is founded from Tennessee, and then the place down in Atlanta. We know someone that gets on our prayer line. She was from Atlanta, and they've been doing the Bible reading marathon for years down there. The goal is for this program to be taken around the United States, for people to go to the courthouses in the famous buildings in these cities to read the Bible, to read it to the public, to make people aware what the Bible talks about, to just having folks to be a part so that people don't have an excuse for not knowing what the Bible is and what it's meant to do.
From your own personal observation, why don't you tell me what you think the Bible is meant to do? It's a good thing to
say. It's a saying, Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. It's the most famous book in the earth. It's relatable everywhere we go in the world. There's different aspects of the Bible. It's written in different languages, so many different languages. And depending on where you are in your spiritual journey, the Bible can be just like music is the soundtrack to our lives. The Bible is the spiritual soundtrack to our lives. It's God speaking through us or to us through the Bible. And I would often, when I fell in love with the Bible, I look at it as a spiritual soap opera. Because I remember when I was young and trying to find my way in terms of being saved and loving the Lord, they tell you to go to church. And, when you're young, your mind is just not on reading the Bible. And I remember trying to read the Bible and I would fall asleep. But when these issues and problems in life, when ups and downs come, and when you're looking for answers, the Bible became a very real thing to me. I began to read it, and it was just like a spiritual soap opera, from Sarah, from Abraham and Sarah, she told her husband to go into our handmaid and give her a child. I'm trying to imagine it of today. You desire to be a one woman's man and a one man's woman, but she told her husband to go get somebody else pregnant. So when you look at stories like that, you're like, wow, where's this stuff going? And you'll begin to fall in love with the reading of the Bible, because a lot of these stories are so interesting. And it's relatable. They say that there's nothing new under the sun, which means that everything that we're doing and experiencing now, you'll find passages of the Bible that will give you solutions to the problems that we are facing even until this day. And the crazy part is those stories were written thousands of years ago, but that's just the wonders of God. The wonders of who he is, he's just like the air that we breathe. We can't see him, but we know that we need that air in order to breathe. And that's just who God is. And in order for us to have a relationship with God, much of how he operates is in his word, the Bible, his characteristics, how he works, how he comes through for people. It's in his word. So that's why the Bible is important.
Wow. So, you've said a lot, and I know that a lot of people agree with that. We all have some kind of observations about what it is that the Bible has provided for us, right?
Uh-huh.
And like, I remember when I first started reading the Bible, I fell asleep on top of the Bible, and I started dreaming about it, right? And I thought I was in a holy war. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this all about, right? And I came up in a where we were Catholic first, which is Christianity, and then we was Islamic studies. And so there was a very broad scope of looking at life and its morality and how God was interfacing with us, right? Mm-hmm. And how we had to guide ourselves. There's a moral construct that comes out of history. And since the Bible is the book in the world and the one most recognized, then people do look at history. And when we start thinking about history and we identify with our families as well in present day, good morning, what is this, Rebe Ryan? Is this somebody you know? Rebe Ryan, good morning. Please pray for each other and all people. We are all family in God's eyes. Yes, ma'am, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, that's beautiful. And good morning, Rodney. Thank you for coming back. Hey, how you doing? I love my guest today, I'm telling you. And we started off on her high point, but it's just going to get better because there's so many things about Delece that I want us to make sure we unpack today. And of course, I'm always favored to say that I have some sort of relationship with the people that I've been speaking with. And all of it isn't as deep or as intrinsic as, say, every person that's here. We're all different. We have a different identity in our friendships. But I think that I'm favored in that I have good, pleasant, and respectful relationships with people. And Delece, you really mark that. You're a marker for me in that. We have our history.
Yes.
My point is that one of the things that I've been talking about lately, I was down in Springfield and they were doing a big event there talking about the history and generations of people. And my E.T. Sting stack was there. And so was the cousin of Harriet Tubman. Right?
Oh.
When we think about who our history is, what our history is, we think about how it frames us and helps find our path, right?
Yes.
And what is the just cause of history, right? How does history help us to align ourselves properly? So when you go to the Bible and you read it, I want to go back to that. Then you hear all these stories, you see all these stories, everybody, from every man and every woman, from the tug of war about a baby. And women are heavy in the Bible, by the way.
Yes.
The story of
although, let me just interrupt you right there. Although women are heavy in the Bible, it's still the man's position is great as well.
I'm not taking anything from it. My point is when you look at the stories in the Bible, you see the duality of how people work together, what it had to be done in order for what it is. I mean, we all can look at it, and we're going to talk about Moses. We're going to talk about Abraham. We're going to, you know what I mean? We're going to talk about David. We're going to talk about Job. We're going to go through all of it. But when you speak of, and you speak of such, you see a very strong presence. Whether her behavior was there to support and to guide, to give wisdom or whatever, she was there. And I think it's just important to raise ourselves up so that we understand that we are as significant as all of this earth is.
Yes.
That's what
yes.
And that we can have our precious role and still be strong. That's what I'm saying. And being strong means that you do honor your husband, your man, the men in your family. My mother, she raised us to be in honor of our brothers. We used to wash their feet and hands and cut their nails and do their hair and feed them. And we were like, well, what are they going to do? Hey, Jana, how you doing this morning? Because I'm like, well, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? So they had to prove themselves, right? Men had to prove themselves. So in our family, men had to prove themselves. It's like, we're doing all this work. We want to know what you're going to do. So,
well, you know, it was the women. Yeah, it was the women that when Jesus rose, it was the women that were there. Yeah, we throughout the Bible, there's so many positive, strong stories about the leadership of women. Yes.
And they were always in context with men. So it's not, I think that when you start speaking, you know, I think what I'm trying to say is that there was a level playing field. That's what I'm saying. And one was without the other, right? That no matter what happened to Eve, it happened to Adam. That no matter what happened to, you know what I'm saying? It all was happening at the same time. We were all together in it, building. Good morning, Bill Morton. Good morning. Okay, we got Evanston in the house. We got Rogers Park in the house. Oh, and I'm just really glad to see that my family is coming in and support us. They want to talk to you. Come on,
wow. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning.
You said a woman carried the word from the beginning. What did she say, Dana? What did she say? Because I bet you this sister right here got something to say about it. Yes. So I wanna put this up because this is how I see you. I just want to say that you're a woman on the road to redemption, and I say that, and you know, even as I use the word redemption, I have to go back and look at it again and ask myself, am I saying that in the right context? And I believe I am. You're on the road of redeeming things, and you're doing it in all the work that you have put out. That's what I've seen through the context, through the rear view of what you're doing and what you've done and what you're doing. And you go to your page, it's chock full of things. So let's talk about some of your journey. And I'm going to take a quick break and come back before we get into it, just so that we don't disturb the rhythm of what you're going to talk about. I want you to think about that. What have you done on your road of redemption? I mean, you've just done so much. What inspired you? Talk about being a young girl reading the Bible. How old were you when you began this journey? And how did you know when you were within your divinity?
Okay.
We'll come right back.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness sessions on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit zeldaspeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
We're going to take that little short break. We'll come back. We got a lot of things we want to share, but we're right back here with Dr. Delece Williams. I'm Senabella. This is the Coffee Break in the Morning on Fridays at 7 a.m. And I'm grateful, blessed, and happy to have everyone here. Let's keep talking. The question to the table for Dr. Williams this morning, since this is a woman of God, she is on a road to redemption. She's redeeming herself and everyone through her process. She's recognizing, and she's become a serious stakeholder here in Chicago of transforming and giving life to this history in every neighborhood and every person she's touched. So let's go back to that question. Are you ready?
Yes.
So how did you know when you were on that road? How young were you when you started this? How young were you when you began your journey? And what was it that moved you forward? What kept giving you the energy to keep going forward?
Well, when you don't grow up in church, there's a difference. We didn't grow up in church. We knew of God. Our parents took us to church around Easter. You would hear things, but God dealt with me at a young age. My mom, she was married to a Caucasian guy. So our life was kind of strange coming up all the way around. Every time he got tired of living around the Black folks, he would go move us into the white neighborhoods, and just the strangeness of our life and growing up would have me to pose this question: who am I? Why am I here? All of these little questions that come across your mind when you're young. And I remember when we lived in Beverly in Chicago, my stepfather, he tried to really take care of us. At one point we lived in a 10-bedroom home. He's always tried to provide, but he just didn't understand our culture. He was not in our skin. So, in the strangeness of how we were living and growing up, I needed something more stable. Just by even often asking my mom, who was my father? I always wanted to know who my real father was, because my sisters and brothers, they were mixed, and my older brother and I, we were the total Black kids in the house. So it was always questions in the back of my mind of what it would be like if I was with my father, all of this little stuff that young people think about. But the fact that we did not grow up in church, God supernaturally would deal with me in various ways. And one of the major ways that he really dealt with me of when I began to really get a close relationship with God was when I desired to be in Hollywood. I wanted to be a movie star. And that's where a lot of my hands-on experiences of knowing who God was and who he is in my life, that's how it started manifesting greatly. Yeah.
So you wanted to go
ahead.
And God start manifesting in front of you what it is that you would be doing. And how did that come about?
From high school, I was the only Black person in my town in Iron Mountain, Michigan, in the UP, the Upper Peninsula.
Wow. Only
just
in your town.
Go ahead.
The only Black person in your town.
When my stepfather, he wanted to go and live at his hometown. His parents was getting older, so he moved us up there. And that was a very wild experience. You got the white folks wanting to come and touch your skin and touch your hair.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. And seeing my mom was an artist. She was very gifted in arts. And before we moved up to Michigan, living in Chicago, she had gotten a scholarship. They wanted her to teach at the Art Institute. Her artwork was, goodness, she had made this statue, and this furniture store furnished our whole house off of this statue that she made. She gifted the store with the statue, and they gave us, a lot of furniture. So watching my mother and her experience in her life, that caused a lot of my curiosity with having a more spiritual based life, because although we were having all of these great things living in this 10-bedroom home, I had a fireplace in my bedroom, my mother was losing her mind. She was becoming mentally ill, because I don't know, the pressures and the cares of his world. I don't know where it just began, but she began to have mental issues when we were living up in Michigan. Yeah. So
that had to
go ahead.
affect. That did have a very strong effect on everything that you would do. It sounds like the work that you and where you've been has been, the road was laid for you to go forward and to build these bricks, right? And that's what I'm hearing. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, you have quite a. Now you've written books too, so
yeah, they finally got.
Wow.
They finally got published.
I know Asada, listen, I told you and Asada got to get together, because that's her thing, right?
Oh, wow.
For real.
Wow.
For real. And yeah. But no, I don't want to distract from your story because it's powerful. And Rodney and everyone is saying something as it relates to it. You've been through a lot, and your attitude does not speak to where you have been.
Well, you guys, I just turned 60, 6 decades. So it's six decades of stuff happening. So yes. So that's why it may sound like a lot, but it's over a lifespan.
Well, I think that is it. As we get older, we all understand. And I remember just recently, I said, "Oh my goodness!" When I look back, I realize that I've been through a whole lot. But you can't think about it as you go day to day. If you were thinking about everything day to day, you wouldn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
I always say I'm jealous of people who took a break and went mentally off, because they get a day, or however long that they deem to stay in it. But we don't. When you don't like sit and fester in it, and you keep moving, it becomes fuel for your future. Yeah. So that for your future did play out, and a lot of wonderful things began to happen. And now I met you when we were at Spiegel's modeling together.
Yes.
You were already in the mix by then, huh? Is that what you're telling me? Wow. So when you left, because you didn't want to lose, but you didn't want to gain weight, you knew.
Yeah, I was the size 8 model. They hired you for you were the size 10 model?
I was a size 8 too. And that's I had hips. You didn't have hips.
Right.
I was an 8 with hips, and you were 8 without.
Yeah. And
in fact, another one. They just kept me. I was happy to make all the money, by the way.
Yeah, they started me off with $50 an hour. And it wasn't until they told me that they wanted me to gain weight. And I couldn't gain weight because I kept auditioning for other roles as well. And all of this came about with Mary Swopes, the Mahogany Foundation. And I know that you still keep up with her as well. It was back in 83. Well, I came back to high school. I was in high school in Iron Mountain, Michigan, and I came back to Chicago. And then I went to Malcolm X College, and then that's when all of that started happening. During the Malcolm X College days, I was in a professional dance troupe with Jewel McLaurin, and that's when we started getting a lot of professional jobs around the city of Chicago as a dancer. And then when I entered into the beauty pageants, the After 5 beauty pageant, and then the Miss Mahogany beauty pageant, and that, because me coming from this all-white town, I wanted to start identifying with Black sisters and just my Blackness, because for the past 3, 4 to 5 years that we were up in Michigan, that's all we were. I was the only Black person up there. So when I came to Chicago.
So you wanted to know what it felt like to be a Black woman.
Yes. Yeah, so soon as I came here, I enrolled in Malcolm X College because I didn't get it. I ended up graduating like 3 years. I didn't even have 4 years of high school because when I left Michigan, I had enough credits to graduate in 3 years in high school. So because of that, I had to go to a community college before I was able to go to a university, and I ended up going to Malcolm X College, and I loved it. So because during that time, I was learning all about me, my Blackness, and and just wanting to actually feel like I was now a part of something. Because up in Michigan, it was wonderful. My best friend up in Michigan, her parents owned the whole just about the whole town. And if she didn't like her bedroom, they were moving and buying a whole bigger house just for her. This kind of stuff. And I'm looking like, wow, I wish my parents had that. Wow, I've never experienced this stuff coming from, being around all Black people. So now coming back to Chicago, to go to Malcolm X College, I just celebrated everything because now I was finally feeling like I was actually a part of something. I was around my culture. I was around Black women, young Black women, and I ended up entering all of these beauty pageants and stuff. And that's how I met Mary Swopes. I ended up winning her beauty pageant in 1990, I believe it was, Miss Mahogany. But before then, I was in a beauty pageant with Lisa Ray. That was the first one with the After Five magazine. And that was a very crazy experience. I think I ended up becoming runner-up. And, and it was so wow for me because of the outcome of what happened. And I think I went backstage and cried and and I had a fit of, the turnout and all of this little stuff. And then it was Mary Swopes and her team. They came backstage and they held me, they comforted me. And then she had me to be a part of her program. And she was just such a gem and played a very instrumental role in my early years of, of growing and becoming the young lady back in that time. So when I met with Mary Swopes and won the Mahogany Beauty Pageant, that's when my career began to take off. She would have me some of everywhere.
So that makes sense now. I remember you said 83. I'm like, I know I wasn't doing 83. So it was 93 when I was over at, reason I know is because I had to make a lot of money to take care of my kids. So in 93, I'm a young mom, and I was already modeling like you and doing poster ads. I had done a couple of movies, some things. I was doing a lot of Chicago and, things based around the city. And then, so that was 93. 93. So, okay. Yeah. You were quite young and all of this.
That was 10 years later. So 83. I would have been like 1890-ish. So around like 23 was when I met you, around that time.
That makes sense. Yes, we were both young and coming into it. I'm a little older than you, but I'm not about to go into my age. But the 60s is definitely in the house, and I ain't mad at it at all. I love aging, but I just want to talk about it right now. It'd be a whole nother conversation. But it comes from the industry we're in, always trying to push back, hide back, cover up, and do all that. And then, I'm a sister, so I was always trying to trump somebody. But at the end of the day, Delece, I just want to keep moving on with you because, again, your story is just it's really wonderful.
Oh,
chock full
to God be the glory. I didn't know. I just wanted to know, where did I fit in this world? Who am I? Being raised by a Caucasian man who tried to understand Blackness because he was married to a Black woman, but just not being in this skin to fully understand our struggles. He did what he could. He loved my mom, and my mom ended up losing her mind because she couldn't take, it was a combination of stuff. And I just remember her being everything to me, telling me about Egyptian statues and, all of this. When you're a young girl, your mom is your everything. And I watched her journey and I'm like, Lord, what happened? We're in this 10-bedroom home. One house he moved us to was a glass house. We would watch the deer come up to our living room and peck at the, so what was missing? And that's what I pledge now in my life. No matter where I go, I felt like, because when my mom, it wasn't until when she began to start getting around church and going back to church when she began to kind of have mental healing points, when she began to come to herself. So when I saw that, I said, I don't want to live this life and not have God with me, without, I don't want to do anything without God, because I saw my mom struggle. She had everything, but God was not as prominent and as president. And perhaps had he would have been, maybe she would not have lost her mind and the things took the turn the way that they took, if she would have kept God first, so, that's her life. But I know the choices that I'm making for my life, that was one of the reasons why I do my best to keep God first and to let him know that he's first and he's my everything. And he's also proven it to me. Getting back to the point of Hollywood was where I began to really see how God moved.
Let me just, because so many people are chiming in, and I just want to read some of them.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the one that I didn't get. Dana says, a woman carried the word from the beginning. And she went on to say, Mary was impregnated with Jesus. She carried the word in her womb. And then Roger wants to say, what a challenge you experienced, Dr. Delece.
Oh, wow.
He says, UP, wow. And then he goes on to say, and I'm from Detroit and got my first audio recording experience in Traverse City. Not as far north as UP, though.
Yeah, I've been there too. Yeah.
Dr. Delece. And then Jenna comes back in again and she says, long live Jewel McLaurin. Wow, memories. Okay, Jen.
We want to do a dedication to Jewel McLaurin. I just told my dance troupe, the three of us, that we're going to, and I'm so glad that, hey, girl, we're going to do a tribute to Jewel McLaurin, and we're going to get with Malcolm X College to do so. Yes.
And Naima Latifah, the founder of Female Solutions, says Mary L. Swopes created some amazing mahogany beauty pageants. I remember.
Yes.
So, and then, look, and then we have Sherry Lynn Smith, wonderful visual artist, which I'll share with you all about. I'm going to be a part of her presentation of 10 Divas on the 2nd of May. And she says, good morning to all. Another reason to listen and be a part of Dr. Delece and Bella. All right. And she said one more time, wow, I get that her sense of self is based on everything we've been a party to, what we've missed, what we've developed. Yeah, this here show is chock full of stuff, because history, we started off talking about, this is history. If we were in a present day Bible, we would see the continuation of the books of what has been, that has framed our lives through the Bible. And if we identify with ourselves from a spiritual aspect, we do see that. And I think I shared with you once, and I'm going to say this live, I was suicidal at one time, and I wanted to kill myself. And I was so desperate to kill myself, I was praying and said, Lord, just let me die today. I want to die today. Can I die today? This is it. It's over. I'm tired. And I felt reckless. And I'm like, I want it to be over. And he wouldn't let it be over. So as I was walking down the street trying to figure out where I was going to stop and die at,
Jesus.
all of a sudden, a whole army of women were around me, praying all over me. And I was like,
Jesus,
am I hallucinating? What's going on? And stop it. And they were like, no, and putting their hands and praying. And I'm all bent over and they're just praying all over me. And then next thing I know, I'm flustered and I do this and I look up and there's no one there.
Jesus.
And I'm like, okay, God, whatever. I can't die. So what you want me to do now? That's what I said. Okay, I can't die. What you want me to do now? I ain't gonna be able to kill myself. So what do I have to do? So here we are. And from that day on, I never thought about it again. But I desperately wanted to that day.
Wow.
Desperately.
Wow. Desperately. And I'm so glad you failed at it.
He wasn't giving me an option. That's what I'm telling you. I had a band of, and I was like, am I dreaming? Is this real? And it really did. and I stand on it today. And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, I need to go sit down for a minute somewhere and try to figure this piece out.
Wow.
I've been okay since. I don't know how to tell you, except that it was an intervention of God. I was talking to I kept saying, please, can I do this today?
Jesus.
I just need all of this confusion and this deep hurt and this it was unyielding. It kept coming at me. Things were just, and I didn't have answers, and I didn't know who to trust for him. And now I'm walking down the street talking to God, and I'm like, I just need to go find the right spot. I didn't know how I was going to do about it. I had nothing with me, but my prayers and my thoughts. And so, yeah, that's why I say I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in God. I believe in the journey. I believe in our history being a marker for where we're to go. And if we do that, we won't feel so confused and so lost. Yeah.
I know, again, my experience, how he dealt with me on a personal level, it was just undeniable for me. I'm convinced that he's real. I'm convinced his word is real. Again, getting back to the Mary Swope's era, she had me up in Hollywood at the NAACP awards, and she had me all over the place. And we were so young to really understand the importance of it all, but I got it later on. But in the midst of it, she saw where she wanted me to be. She was being my mom, because, my mom was still living up in Michigan when I came back to Chicago. And she wanted to just make sure that she instilled so much in me. And I had to catch up to what she was doing. The thoughts that she had for my life, I had to catch up to that. Yeah.
Look, you've done a lot. I feel like I need to have you back a second time. It's like, but we're gonna try to get in as much as we can. Dana, thank you for saying that. She thanks for the move of God. He had his hand on you, and this work for you. I praise him for sparing you. Thank God. I do too. I mean, seriously I just scrapped it after that day. I'm telling you, it was like there was never thought again to go do that. It's amazing how that happened.
Wow.
It's amazing how that happened. And I just trusted, because I never had an experience like that, but I trusted that what God and I were talking about, that he gave no choice but to go forward. No but to go. You just go for it, Senabella. Oh, okay. I'm going to go for it. I don't know what to, but I'm going to do this. You said it. Now count on you to be you. And I'm going to count on me to be me. And I didn't know what the me really was. But that's the beauty of getting to 60, baby.
Yes.
You start looking at what's in your hand, the cards that you've been dealt, and you go, wow, it was that many cards. And you really are a true sponsor of resilience and love and empathy and caring. And like, I just want to add this to stage.
Talk about this a little bit, Dr. Delece.
Hi. Yes, ma'am.
I said, please go ahead and share with us your thoughts about your journey in Kids Korner and how it helped you to your vision. What was it and how it led you?
Kids Korner actually started. It was a pastor. Working from the beauty pageants, I ended up starting to get little movie roles, minor movie roles. I ended up working with Richard Pryor and JoJo Dancer. He selected me to be the waitress in the movie. And then I ended up, that kind of halted my career because I was 2 months pregnant on JoJo Dancer and I didn't know. But before JoJo Dancer was my first big experience was working with Spike Lee. And that was, I would call those faith walks. That was one of the biggest times that God had really revealed himself to me the way that he did, to let me know that he's real. I had a pastor friend. His son was also working in Hollywood, and they told me about Spike Lee looking to cast people for JoJo Dancer. I know, Jungle Fever at the time. So my pastor, he had bought me a plane ticket to go to New York. Never been to New York before. He gave me some little spending money. And I also had an evangelist, a spiritual mom at the time. Her name was Ola Wilson, Prophetess Wilson. And she prophesied to me everything that was going to happen. And here at this time, I was a young babe in Christ, but I had a lot of mentors that was kind of helping me and coaching me along in my spiritual journey. So when I got to New York, after the pastor had bought my ticket and my spiritual mom had prophesied and told me what was going to happen, everything happened the way she said it. She said the plane was going to get delayed. I was going to get detoured. She said, but stay in prayer. And yes, the plane got delayed, and it ended up being for a reason. Just so happened when I finally got to New York, I've never been to New York. I had the little money in my pocket. I didn't realize that the hotels were so expensive around Spike Lee's studio. And all I can do was, at this point, was to lean on my faith. I was always listening to others with prayer. So now I'm out here in all of this big old city, and all I had was God and what they told me who God was. So I began to pray. I ended up, the cab driver took me to Spike Lee's studio. I knocked on his door. It ended up being 9:00 at night. And it was 2 people still in the building. They were editing. And when I'm knocking on the door, and I said, hey, I came from Chicago. I was told to come here, that you guys are auditioning people. And they thought I was so, weird for doing it, but I guess they see all kind of stuff, being in the movie business. And the thing that stuck out to them was I had my Bible. And they laughed at me, they joked, and, and just so happened they ended up befriending me. And I ended up staying in Spike Lee's sister's apartment for 2 weeks. And, they would take me onto the set. Spike Lee even talked about me carrying my Bible, but that's all I had. I'm in this strange place, and, and I'm thinking that this is getting ready to be my big break. And no, they took me around. They wanted me to stay longer. But at the time, it was his producer, Monty Ross, that spoke into my life. He said, you came all the way out here to New York to shine, but the star is within you. In other words, the God spirit, the God greatness is in you. They had me doing little bit parts, and I couldn't stay no longer than the 2 weeks. So I ended up leaving, but it was what Monty Ross said to me. He said, it's in you, shine wherever you go. So that's when I went back to Chicago, I ended up starting up the Kids Korner TV show, taking all of my experiences and things that I had, and I started the Kids Korner TV show. And then in that time frame too, another spiritual journey for me was when I went to the Soul Train Awards, and I was there when Biggie got murdered. That was another, oh my God. That one was when God really revealed himself to me. I went with Princess Hemphill. I know many of you guys know her. Back in that time, we ended up sharing a hotel together. I think at that time I was also working at TWA. So, we can get these little buddy passes. And I got her a buddy pass for us to fly up to go to the Soul Train Awards. And she had, she knew all of the stars, and that's, we went into the Vibe magazine party the night he was murdered. I was right there. And, I was so excited to be around the midst of all of these people. I'm taking pictures with everybody. And at this time, I wanted to take a picture with Biggie. Biggie was sitting there with his bodyguards and Russell Simmons. And I asked him, can I take a picture? And his bodyguard stopped me. He said, no, he's not taking pictures with anybody. But Russell Simmons stood up and said, I'll take a picture with you. I got all of these pictures right now to this day. But because I know we're running out of time. But what happened with that night and the way it was all set up and the way God had to protect us was, oh my God, it was crazy. It was crazy. and to show that it was a setup, and God let me see that all that glitters is not gold. You know, although you're around this stuff and these people and these things, I still need to be first in your life, because I'm taking you backstage just so that you can see the people we idolize, the people that we look up to, they even need me. So anyway, yeah, it was that all, a lot of this stuff is in my books. I have my book signing Saturday, tomorrow night from 5 to 7 p.m. at 839 West 79th Street at the Auburn Gresham Healthy Lifestyle Hub. It's a new building that they just renovated. And you guys, the book series is called On the Shoulders of Giants. You know, I all I got is my stories and how God brought me through and brought me out so that I can be a blessing to others. And that's what I'm trying to put in my books and everything I do, because it's only God. I have nothing. He allowed me to be around the best. He allowed me to marry the best. My husband, the king of house music, Farley Jackmaster Funk. You guys know him as one of the creators of house music, with marrying him. And that's why I say, you know, as much as we as women like to be empowered, you know, it wasn't until in my marriage when God began to give me the desires of my heart through and because of my husband, I'm able to do these things. Because of that man, I've been able to travel around the world. So, that's what God loves: order, man first, women, children, you know, and when I've learned to line up with that, oh my God, he reminded me and he let me know that, and I'm not saying that that's what every situation, I just know what God loves, you know, and that's also in his word.
And not only that, but you're saying this is my success. This is what's worked for me. This is my recipe. I believed in God. God gave me Master Jack Farley, right? And I am his wife. He is my husband. He's my protector. He is my leader and my guide, my household. He is my children's father. He's the grandfather. He's the man of this community. And he's the reason why God put him in my life so I could go on that jet plane and come back to Chicago and be in the arms of safety and be in love.
But let me share this with you too, of which that's a whole nother book, In the House with the King. That was nothing but a testimony. The way, oh my God, that's a whole nother book. But I know, and again, that was how I began to really just lay in the bosom of the Lord. I knew then that he had me. That just when this marriage situation came about, and I knew it was nothing but God, you know, because we were like, this is our 40 year of knowing each other. But even back then, the Lord told me that he was going to be my husband. I didn't know it was going to be much later. But again, that was another faith journey situation, and me allowing God to have his way in my life. And now the blessings are just pouring in. You know, what you're showing right now is also my co-authors. They will be with me on Saturday. They wrote the fourth book that's a part of our book series, On the Shoulders of Giants. This is something for the family circle. We got something from the elders always down to the babies. And my granddaughters, Dior and Dion, they wrote the book for the toddlers and the young people. So if you guys can, check us out. That's Saturday from 5 to 7 at 839 West 79th Street at the Auburn Gresham Healthy Food Hub or Healthy Lifestyle Hub. And then on Sunday, we start the Bible reading marathon. You know, and it's many people around the United States. They are also doing the Bible reading marathon leading up to May 1st. May 1st is National Day of Prayer. So that's why a lot of people try to put the Bible reading marathon around National Day of Prayer. Our segment is from April 27th all the way to April 30th. We will be down at Daily Plaza at 12 noon each day, just getting through reading the Bible. I know we won't finish the whole thing, but we will get started. This is our first year getting started, bringing it to the city of Chicago. I don't know if it's been done before in Chicago. I do know it's represented in other states, from Atlanta to Washington, D.C. People are going to courthouses and what have you to make this a public outcry, and to get people to get comfortable with reading the Bible. pick it up, get it off the bookshelf, dust the dust off of it, and start reading it, because God's expression is in his word. We want to know about God's mannerisms. It's in his word. The way that I got more interested in it, I would tell myself it's better than any television show, any reality TV show, because there's some good stuff up in there. It will cause you to clutch your pearls.
Hey, Pam, cousin Pam is here, and every morning she's posting about her love of God and giving us inspiration. And it's such a wonderful thing to see people here who are resonating with this message, with you, Dr. Delece Williams. I would tell you all to go and find her on Facebook, follow her. She has wonderful things going on. And really, I want to say that she gave me a Queen's Award. She gives the U.S. Presidential Honors.
Yeah.
That's why I said we just got to have you back. It's like we only got a few more minutes to go. And I just want to make sure that I can recognize and say everything that I need to say about you, Delece. I just absolutely am so honored to have you here with me at this moment.
Oh, and likewise, sister, likewise. We shared, you reminded me we were the first Black women in history to have clothes made off of our bodies. I didn't have her hips.
I still have my hips. Lose weight but have hips. But you're right. Spiegels launched this campaign to do a clothing line for Black women, and we were chosen to be the fit model to come in every day and to have them put pins in our hips and our shoulders through trying to cut and design all these clothing and all this clothing line for Black women. And we were the women in that room who were the fit models. And
to be young. Yeah, young. I started out with getting $50 an hour. That was huge to me. I'm like, please call me back. And I know you said you worked much longer.
I don't know if it was because you left, but I got paid a lot of money, and I was very happy to be there. But I was steady. And so, of course, we were on the same path, but in two different roads, right?
Yes.
But we're here today. And again, just honored to have you here to share your story. And so people can look at life as more than being just, we're an entrepreneur of many things. That's what I want to say. And that's the freedom of being an entrepreneur, is that you get to think creatively and to continue to move through different doors and coming in and out of certain elevators and seeing out windows and to understanding the landscape of so many different other places geographically, but to be able to be focused also, to say that everything you're doing has purpose. And I think that's what this does. This provides purpose. Look at our grandchildren, right? And for you to say, this is what they did when they were 10 years old, and here you are now lineage to make sure that everything is in place, right? That you go forward, putting everything in place. So no matter what happens today, that tomorrow your children, your husband, everybody's going to be okay. The community will know what Dr. Delece Williams did, and that she's this woman here, a woman of God on the road to redemption. Wow.
And they will also know too, because like what your partner was saying earlier, Kids Corner, we are solidified with the city of Chicago. We have a street sign on 79th and 80th and Ashland Avenue, impacting thousands of families with millions of donations that we've distributed throughout the city of Chicago, powering cities through giving, communities through giving. We've done so much, and that's why, we're just turning 60.
I do my part. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dr. Delece.
Thank you. Thank you. My husband is giving me a birthday party sometimes in July, so look forward to that. Yeah, we're going to celebrate.
Make sure you tell your husband I said thank you. He is such a kind guy. I like this man. I text him all the time by mistake, but he always gives you a message. This man is at work doing his business. God bless you all. This has been Coffee Break.
It's 8 o'clock.
But that's the testimony. He is a man of God. And again, all of that will be in my book. And just stay tuned because it's 8:00. See y'all. Hope to see y'all tomorrow and next week.
I'll see you all soon. Welcome,
God
guys.
bless you. Thank y'all. Thank you so much, Senabella. Thank you.
My pleasure. God bless us all.
Love you, sister.